Hello, listeners. This is Zang here from Baroque Connect Radio, and I have with me on the line, I have Eadrom, the bass player and backing vocalist of the band Bloodhunter. How are you doing, Eadrom?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks again for taking the time here to hang out with us. I know you're actually over in Spain. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Northwestern Spain. Western Spain.
And how's the weather over there in northwestern Spain?
Generally pretty shitty, but sometimes, like today, we actually have some nice, sunny, clear weather.
Now, I got some questions here. We're gonna go over here. Some of them are listener submitted, and so my first one, though, is actually you personally. Now, how long have you been playing the bass, and is there any other instruments you've picked up as well along the way?
I've been playing the bass for probably not longer than 10 years or so. It's been on and off, but apart from bass, not much. I mean, I can play guitar enough to write a song, maybe, and I could do some, piano chords, but nothing, nothing too pro. What I really focus on is bass, pretty much.
Now, do you use a pick, or are you pulling?
I've always been a finger player, but with the last couple of bands I've been playing, it's been more of a pick kind of feel, and lately I've been using exclusively picks just because it's the bands I've been playing in, not because I prefer it.
And so, what's the name of the bass are you playing mostly? What's your favorite brand? I guess is the best way to ask.
Well, the one I have right now is it's a South American bass that I bought from when I lived in Venezuela. It's called Strindberg, and I think they're made in Brazil or something. And if you look for them, you'll basically only find people from somewhere in Latin America using them. And I'm really happy with it. I've had it for a few years now. So far, it's the only one I have right now. I mean, I'd like to buy more, possibly, but this one is really good, and I use it to record the whole Bloodhunter album, and it worked great. I mean, we were really happy with it.
Now, as a bass player, a lot of bass players have certain influences, Cliff Burton, Rob DiGilio, and for you personally, what were some of your influences growing up that encouraged you to pick up the bass?
Growing up, probably, of course, Steve Harris, Iron Maiden, classic. Yep. Apart from that, probably Christian Old Wolvers from Fear Factory, who ironically switched to guitar later. But that's another one that really made me want to pick up a bass instead of a guitar or a drum kit or anything else. And apart from that, maybe Martin Mendez from Opeth, Billy Gold, Faith No More. Really varied influences.
Now, you are the backing vocalist for the band. Diva's obviously the vocalist.
Yeah.
On any of the songs coming up or any future songs, will you be doing more on the vocal sense, or are you just going to stick with the backing vocals portion?
So far, we've been doing backing vocals sometimes in live shows. Maybe I've been backing her up a bit more, in parts where there's doubled vocals. Then I can help with that kind of stuff. That in the studio, of course, she would just double it herself, But apart from that, I don't think we've had any plans of making it that way, because I think we've pretty much forged the sound of Bloodhunter with Diva on front. That's kind of her sound is part of the sound of the band. So for now, I don't think we have any plans to change that, at least not for now.
Now, for you as a bassist and as a vocalist, are you self-taught or were you professionally trained?
As a vocalist, definitely self-taught. Never been trained in any way. As a bassist, I did have a few classes, but very basic stuff. Mostly, right now with the internet and YouTube videos and stuff, you can learn a lot. I mean, you can learn even theory and stuff without having to go to formal classes, which is never a bad idea either. But it's just how I've done it so far.
Now, the band was formed in 2008, and, it's unfortunate, but, it does happen. You've had some lineup changes with the band. Would you fair say that the current lineup is probably the strongest it's ever been?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's the only one that actually managed to break through, so to speak. It's the lineup that managed to stay. It's the genre that is working with the band, the styles of the songs, because with the lineup changes, the style has changed a lot as well. It changed from having a lot of keyboards and soaring power metal vocals to, going back to a more raw and powerful blast beat filled kind of style. Even some of the songs, even though they're the same, they've been arranged differently. And I think this is the style that and the lineup that finally helped, push the band forward.
Do you find that with Diva's addition to the band that brought you guys more into more of an extreme level?
Yeah, definitely. The vocals has been, the vocals. I think everything, because the drummer we have now, Foguet, he also like brings a lot of a lot of power into the band. But yeah, definitely Diva has been an important factor for that.
Now, my next question actually is more or less. I mean, you guys, like I said, you guys have only been around. You guys have been around since 2008. But the most important part, though, is your albums.
Yeah.
Back in was it 2013? You dropped the demo you had. It was called The First Insurrection.
That's right.
And then you had in 2014 you dropped that single called Age of Darkness.
Yeah.
And then most importantly, on April 23rd, your new full-length debut album, self-titled, on Suspiria Records was released. How has the new album been received by the fans during your shows?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been quite happy. I think we've all been quite satisfied, not only with the result of the album, but the impact it seems to be having. I mean, it's still a debut album. It's still a small band, so to speak. It's not like we've been around like it's our fourth album or anything. But I think for a debut album, a completely new band, you could say, I've been really happy, and I think we've all been really satisfied. I mean, there's been a good response online, in the shows we've had. I mean, we're still working on doing a lot of shows like after summer, and the ones we've had so far, I mean, we've had some pretty good response, and people actually coming up to us and mentioning that they really like it. It sounds good, like they're happy with it. So I think, it's been a great achievement so far.
Now, the debut album, Bloodhunter, has 11 tracks on it. 2 of them actually were instrumentals. Will we be seeing more instrumental tracks on your upcoming albums, do you think?
Probably. We're all we're all fans of instrumental and technical, the technical aspect of music, and we'll probably be doing that more. I think so. I mean, we don't have anything ready, anything definite for any next releases, but I think it will be happening.
Have you already started beginning writing for the next album, or are you still enjoying the current album cycle?
Well, we're enjoying the album cycle, but yeah, we've had some stuff, mostly Fenris, because he's the main songwriter. I mean, he's been writing some stuff as well. We don't have anything definite yet. We barely released, this album, but some of the songs in this album are already a few years old, so you always got that itch to keep writing new stuff, to keep evolving the sound, and we're still doing it for sure.
Now, I know you said that Fenris is the main songwriter, but of course the band obviously has some influence in some of the songs.
Yeah.
Is there any personal favorites that you had, that you enjoyed contributing to the most off the album?
Personal favorite songs, probably Bring Me Horror. I think I really like that one. It's we put it out as a B-side in the single, and it's a part of the album as well. And apart from that, I really like all of them, but maybe even Ezekiel, the instrumental one. It's really fun. It's a really short, really fast song with a lot of changes, and I think it's great fun. And we've all contributed especially to that one because it's instrumental, so each of us, both myself and the drummer as well, we all put our own part, to make it work together as a band. I think it was really great.
Now, I noticed on the beginning of the album, The First Insurrection, that's that first instrumental. Is that sort of like a metaphor of your debut album?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point, especially because it was used for the title of the first demo, which is basically the first recording of the band ever to surface, to go public. So I think it's also kind of like, the first, the first coming out or the first battle cry or whatever you want to call it.
Now, you guys are going to be hit the road pretty soon. Do you want to throw anything out to the listeners on where they can catch you, or are you just going to be sticking around in Europe area, or are you going to be coming over here to North America?
Oh, we'd all love to be able to go to North America. I mean, for now, our plans are still, we have some shows for this year lined up for Spain and Portugal, which is what we've got near, hit it around here, and then we'll hopefully try to go farther, probably into Europe, and if possible, if not with this album, with the second album, we'd love to hit, the States and Canada and everywhere else, pretty much.
Are there any festivals you'll be hitting up? I mean, the festival season's about halfway through now. Yeah. Is there any festivals maybe you're going to be catch up at the end of this summer, or are you going to wait till next summer to hit all the big festivals?
No, well, that's the problem. The album came out a bit too late to actually get into the summer season, So we're not playing any summer festivals. We're planning a lot of stuff for after summer, October, November. but no festivals, not this year at least. So we hope that for next year we'll definitely try to do all these, like, well, whatever European summers will have us, you know.
As a fresh new band with your debut album, is there any specific festival that you guys would love to hit up?
I don't think anything specific. We're all big fans of festivals. We every summer, most of us, you know, go, like Fenris and Diva always go to Hellfest every year. We also have this really cool festival that's like 2 hours from here, from where we live. It's called the Resurrection Fest, and it's mostly hardcore and metalcore. But lately, they've been bringing in a lot of metal bands and thrash and death metal, and it's been getting really big every year. And because it's near to us, you know, maybe it wouldn't be that hard to actually, maybe we could have the chance, if possible, you know, to play there, or any of these ones that we have near, like the Vagos in Portugal, you know. And apart from that, I think all those festivals are usually great fun for bands and for people, you know. As long as there's people there and there's a good stage where you can, you know, play your music, then that's great.
Is there any, what bands, both metal and non-metal, are big influences for Bloodhunter?
I think mainly for the songwriting. I mean, especially on Fenris' side, there's a lot of influence from maybe Behemoth, their Septic Flesh, you know, without the whole orchestral aspect, but the death metal aspect is definitely an important influence. And there's also a lot of power metal and melodic death metal influence in the band, even if you hear the band and there's a lot of blast beats and it's really brutal, but you can feel, like, with the melodies and the solos, there's always this, like, melodic influence to it. Apart from that, we all listen to a lot of stuff, metal and non-metal, you know, but I don't know how much of that actually shows, you know, into the songwriting.
My next question is actually one of my personal favorites. It's one of the newer ones I've been asking a lot of bands during interviews, and that is, can you briefly describe what the band's rehearsal is like?
Well, usually it's like a 45-minute road trip because the drummer lives in a nearby city. And so we're just jamming some music on the car, you know, talking about, I don't know, what we're going to wear the next show or something stupid like that. And then it's, you know, setting up, setting everything, checking volumes, and jamming a full set list twice or three times depending on the time we have. It's usually a Saturday or a Sunday because we all have, you know, we all work, we all have day jobs, and we all have our lives. We all live pretty far apart from each other. So apart from that, just, you know, taking a break, having fun, having a coffee. There's a McDonald's in front of the rehearsal place, so there's not really much to do there either. And that's pretty much it. Then going home or going out for a drink if we're, you know, in the mood for it.
All right. Well, this is the part of the chat that I hand the mic over to you and give you the opportunity to send a message to the listeners on what they can expect from the next Bloodhunter show.
Okay, great. Well, everyone listening to Broken Neck Radio, we just released an album a couple of months ago. It's really brutal. It's a bit melodic, too, although the cover doesn't really show that. It's really brutal as well. And we're preparing some great shows. We've been working on it. We've had a few local shows first just to, you know, check how it's going. And we hope we can see everyone who listens to our album. We hope we can see them all on the road, hopefully soon enough. If not this year, next year, but soon enough. And new songs, too. Why not? Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, Eadrom. And listeners, this is Zang here chatting with Eadrom, the bass player and backing vocalist from the band Bloodhunter. You can check them out. Their new album came out on April 23rd on Suspiria Records. You can check the band out at www.bloodhunter.net. If you want to book the band, you can book them at booking@bloodhunter.net. You can follow them on Twitter. They're on MySpace. You can get them on SoundCloud. You can purchase the album as well on Bandcamp. You can get them at bandcamp.com/Bloodhunter. And thanks again, Eadrom, for hanging out with us, and good luck in your next show.
Oh, thanks to you. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.